We're going to do the Pink Fresh collection. This is picture perfect, and you can see there are 3 pieces and lots of projects to do. In fact, let me just show you one of them so you can see the die cuts really have a good time. And we'll just open this up and you can see some things going on inside. So lots of things to play with. So please come play with us. Well, just to go over what the products are, this is a 6x6 paper pad. There are 24 sheets. They are double-sided. In fact, I'll be showing you some of them, so leave that as it is. These are the die cuts, and there are 36 pieces, and they really give you lots of creative options. And then the adhesive dots, there are, let's see, 84 of them, and you can see the variety of colors and the variety of sizes. So that's a nice combination. Now let's go to our first card. And I was really captivated by the stripes. And there's 2 stripes. There is the sheet that I used on the front, and then there is a bolder, broader stripe that's also included. And as I said, everything is double-sided. And I'm going to use the 5x6.5 inch card, of course. And what I found is that in some cases, as you would expect, many of the die cuts were smaller. So I really wanted them to be larger. And one way you can do that is to mat them or to put them in a frame. And that's what I've done here. So you can see that this is actually looking a little bit larger than what it actually is. And I'll open this up. You can see that it is an aperture. It's a die cut card. So where am I going to go for the die cutting? I'm going to go for our standard, the 12 circles and scallops. Now I use the 2.5 inch wide circle to cut this piece. And you can see that first I put the stripe paper and cut it smaller than the card itself. And down below there are complete instructions, so you can see all the measurements. I made this smaller because there is white showing in the art, in the stripes, so I wanted to have the white border kind of echoing that color. So the 2.5 inch is placed pretty close to just above the center of the card, and you can use, I found the low-tack tape just invaluable in positioning that, and then running it through the die cutting machine. Now, if you have a Big Shot or a Gemini Junior that is only 6 inches wide, you can put a piece of scrap paper on top of this and run it through your die cutting machine this way. Obviously, this wouldn't be there. If you have a larger, broader opening, you can run it through this way. So in either case, you can operate this and make this aperture card. So as you can tell, I did this first. Now, throughout the combination, I felt I would need some solid cardstock. And I went into the collection that we have at Paper Wishes, and I found the Teacups and Roses really echoed the colors that were in this paper pad. So that's kind of what I'm using all the way through. So whenever you see a solid color, that's where it's coming from. And obviously, you can see one right here. So in making this, as you know, you're going to take your circle, which this was the 2.5 inch one, and place it on your die cutting machine and have the scallop that's larger just right on top of it. And then I did that on the Teacup and Roses pink, which I thought just did a really nice job. I added these flowers, and I have to tell you, for $1.49, it's just a heck of a deal. So there you go. These are the sparkles. Let's see, they're called the Precious Pink Sparkle Florets. And the ones that I used came out of this package, so you can see that there's tons left. They are not adhesive, so you do need to tack them down. And that's great because you can do foam tape if you want to, or you can just do glue as I did. I did 3 on each opposite corner, and I used 2 of the darker and 1 of the light, 2 of the light and 1 of the darker, just to mirror those colors. Okay, so that took care of. I didn't put a greeting on the front because I felt I didn't need that, because my plan was to do the For You on the inside, so that became my greeting. Now I did do the broader stripes going the opposite direction, and they fit nicely, so I did have to, actually I think I just trimmed a little bit off the top, so no problem. Also left a white border so it was consistent with the front. In this case, I positioned this to make sure that it would show, and then also added this Made with Love die cut and then another of the flowers. So I have 3 going down. Generally, you want to make sure you have an uneven number, so 1, 3, 5, 7, you get the idea. So that took care of this card. Pretty simple to do, and yet I felt really good about using those stripes pretty creatively, so that worked nicely. Okay, now we're going to go to this next card, and this, as you can see, is a 3-dimensional card. And I did use our center step die, and again I did bring in the Teacups and Roses solid cardstock and created the base out of one of the blue colors. So I'm just going to open this up so you can see. So this is a lighter blue on the inside, a little bit darker on the outside, but it gets covered up, as you can see. Well, I guess you could see it there. Okay. And what I wanted to do was to take advantage of this paper and to pair it with a stripe. Okay, no, I'm not going bonky on stripes, but did want to use that. I thought that was a good combination. And as you can see, after die cutting the card out of the solid, I used the center area with this one and simply covered it. Now, what you could do is use your die cut, your cutting die again and cut this out, or you can do what I did. I simply glued this to that section and then cut it out with scissors. Whatever you like is going to be fine. When I placed it there, I went ahead and did my stripes, and I know there's a lot of flowers there, but I did a vertical stripe at the bottom, so it's going up and down, but I did it horizontally on each of the sides, just to give a little bit of a difference. What I found is it didn't quite look finished. So I went into my Ever Ready combination of the fancy border dazzles. Now this has got black, white, gold, and silver. Obviously I used white at the top and white at the bottom. In fact, there's 2 rows there just to finish off the edges. You don't have to go on all 4 sides unless you choose to. I didn't. I really wanted this design to show, so that worked nicely. Now, in the center, I did use the die cut. You can see it says love. And then I added this second one that says best friends right on top of it. I did that to make it larger, and it was fun to have 2 of the die cuts that you really kind of couldn't tell that there were 2 of them. So the flowers, like the pink ones, come out of a package that has glitter and not glitter flowers on it. In this case, there aren't, you know, there's still many left, but I did do a good job of having fun with them. So you can see that I used the large ones and the small ones. They're all in the same package. So the small ones here are at the top, the large ones at the bottom. I reversed it on the other side. And then on the corners, there are 2 large and 1 small. So they kind of mirror each other. And then I went into the adhesive dots and used the teal. So this is very white and teal, as you can see. So the flowers have crystals on them, but those dots just again added more of the teal color, which I thought worked well. 3 of them in the center, again, an uneven number, as you can see. Now for the inside, I went to, again, the stripes, so that's going vertically, the fancy border dazzles, top and bottom. And then this is one of the die cuts, one of a kind, made for you. And I like the idea, it kind of looks like it's writing those, so that was fine. And 3 more of the flowers and 2 more of the of the adhesive dots. So yes, I could have put a third one there, couldn't I? Maybe I'll go back and do that. So that finishes that card. And I was pleased with how, you know, it's going to stand up, of course, but with just the two colors, I thought worked really well. There are several of the die cuts that are more for scrapbooking. So, of course, those I didn't use for card making. Something like this, of course, could be both scrapbooking and card making, but that just did a good job. So, okay, we're going to go into our next card. And this again is the 5 by 6.5 inch card. Now again, you can see the solid that I wanted. It is a brighter pink that echoes some of the pinks that are in the artwork. So this is really a collage of the die cuts. So what I used, as you can see, is this paper that has the teal, and then a border. And let me show you. There are a couple of borders here, and I elected on this sheet to take this border, top and bottom, and apply it, glue it to the card. I just thought that brought in more of the pink that was going to be in that particular die cut, because that's the one I really wanted to have the focal. So that's something that you can do with this particular set, because there are a few borders in it. So it's nice to think of them in terms of a different way to use the borders. And I thought that worked pretty nicely. Now again, just like in the last card, I felt like I wanted to, although there's a rickrack border in the art, I wanted to have another border next to it. So I went to the thin line dazzles. Again, black, white, gold, silver. And it just added what I felt like was just a finishing touch right up there on the other side of that paper border and on the inside of that one. So that did a good job. Okay, now about these. So with this, the stripe is, it is the paper, but I think there's, yeah, there is a die cut that has a strip of it. So I used that, and that is glued down. Then I did want to foam tape this because I wanted it to be raised and to be more kind of important. And you can see the Just For You. Now that's just placed there, 3 of the enamel dots. Looks like I'm into a teal thing, aren't I? But there are other colors, as you could see. Now this is another die cut, and this is one die cut. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them on the front of this. This is glued down. This tag is glued down. This is foam taped, and you can see I have everything touching. And I think that's a good way to visually link them together, is that they actually do touch. You see that in scrapbooking when you've got a photograph and then you've got maybe die cuts or journaling overlapping them. Same idea. So this is the focal, but these are all part of that focal, so you can see them all together. And your eye isn't jumping around where you don't know where to look if they are all visually connected. Does that make sense? Are you telling me yes? I think you are. Okay, so you can see the Just For You is touching, of course, right there. The orange I thought was fun to play with, the Just For You orange, and also that rickrack at the top and bottom, and the Happiness All Year. Now you could double foam tape this. I didn't really need to because this could just go over the top of that, and the foam tape is really right here. One more little enamel dot right there, and that took care of it. Okay, let's go to the inside. So very, very teal and pink on the front, very pink on the inside. Now remember, I talked about taking those borders. Well, on this particular sheet, you also have these rows, and I elected to use them with this paper. As you can see, there's the back side of it that I didn't use. So I glued this in, and then I added that border. Again, I was with the thin line dazzle, so I had them top and bottom. This time I've got 2 of the die cuts all the flowers of tomorrow are the seeds of today. And then I thought this was nice because this perfectly matched. Now, there is another image on this die cut. Take my word for it, okay? And I covered it up purposely because I wanted this to be visually connected. And this flower is more like this particular flower. So I was pleased with that little scalloped edge, the edging that my thin line dazzles gave, and also that this flower is one that's down here. So again, everything works together. Okay, so those are all my reasons for doing what I did. Okay, one more card. And this time, I added some sparkle. Now, in this card, you can see the paper. It's this sheet. And I did add a blue strip. Now, this die cut and this die cut were just white. And when I placed them on here, they disappeared because they had a white edge. So you can take care of that with the magic of ink pads and blender brush. Okay, so what I did on the blue piece of cardstock that came in the sheet is I trimmed this down, and I used the royal blue prism, placed my little strip onto my craft mat, dipped this into my blending brush into the ink, and just went right along both edges. So you can see that those are darker edges. My intent was to give it a little bit more dimension. The same thing on these two I did with blush. And what it did, I wasn't trying to, this blue is a darker by design. The pink is not darker, it's just there to give an edge so that it will stand out against the white background of the paper. Okay, that makes sense? And I'm very pleased with how it turned out. So I've got Smile, I've got this. Dazzles, this is the Fancy Border Dazzles in primary colors. And this blue is a darker blue than what is in the art, but I thought it did a really nice job of framing it. And you can see it's kind of bookmarks on it. Okay, and again, you don't have to put it on all four sides. You can, but I thought, in fact, I've done that, I guess, in almost all of the projects. So just showing you with repetition that that's going to work nicely. Now, I did have a thing with the ribbon, and I played around with it. I tried a darker blue, and let me show that one. And when I put it there, it did a nice job of going with the dazzles, but I felt it was a little overpowering. And I tried a pink, and I thought that was okay, but it kind of, I just felt that it was not strong enough. So I went with the blue because it was kind of, you know, this is too much and this is not enough. So my Goldilocks was, this was just right. It doesn't take away from anything, but it also doesn't fade into the background. So that, that made me happy. Then I wanted to add some sparkle. And it was interesting because I played with different of the sparkles. This is from Buttons Galore. And what I discovered is that the crystal, this is coconut, it will pick up whatever color is underneath it. So I've got pink and I've got yellow in the flowers. Now, I did play with pink and yellow sparklets, or crystals, sorry, crystals, but it didn't really, I just didn't think it was necessary to have the two packages. So I went back and went with these because you're getting the pink and the yellow colors just because this being clear is picking up those colors. And I thought that was a really good thing to note. Now, if you watched our webisodes, you'll know that the easy way, super easy way to place all of these is with a teeny tiny drop, absolutely teeny tiny, of the Specialist glue, and then to use the jewel picker. And if you have not used this, you will be so happy, because you can just pick up the crystals, place them on the glue, and the glue will hold it. Remove the jewel picker, and you've got so much control, and it just goes faster and easier. So very, very nice. You'll notice, I think, that there are multiple sizes. So there's big crystals and there are tiny ones. I just did them by the size of the flower. So I just put them in the middle of each of the flowers. And I thought, again, it wasn't a in-your-face sort of embellishment. It was just right. Not too much, not too little, but just right. Okay, let's go to the inside. Now, the inside, I've got this sheet, as you can see. I did ink it with the blush, so you can see a little bit. I took one of those borders that I've been telling you about. It was an all-over sheet of X's and O's, created it as a border, just cut it. My favorite part, taking it slow, and then this little coffee cup. And I wanted the coffee cup to kind of rest on one of the die cuts, so that's why it's there. And then I took our white gel pen and drew steam coming up. And I just thought it made it a little more finished. No big deal, just wiggle lines. Just did it like that. I went over it a couple of times because on the pink with white, just wanted to make sure that you could see it. So I felt that worked nicely to give that a table to rest on and give it some dimension or some realism with the steam. And so my favorite part, taking it slow, hugs and kisses, and smile. So those are the 4 cards that I did with the Pink Fresh Picture Perfect. So while the title sounds like scrapbooking, as all paper craft products, practically all I think, you can use for card making, scrapbooking, journaling, all sorts of things. Anything that touches paper, you can use these with. As I have said, you can see all of the directions and the supply list down below. There is a money saver, of course. We always keep that over on the right-hand side of your screen. I hope you liked my sharing what I did and why I did it, kind of what the design elements were, because I'll be doing that again, and I hope you will join me. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like us, subscribe, head on over to paperwishes.com, where you can take advantage of the money saver. If you want, you can print off the instructions. You can also look at the projects and decide if you want to use them or if you want to modify them, whatever you like. And I want to thank you very much for joining us, and let me know what you think. There are the comments down below, and we will see you next time. And as always, thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Bye-bye.